Gnocchi alla Sorrentina, the amazing oven-baked pasta dish that will be on your table in 25 minutes or less.
To start, put a large pot of water on to boil. Finely chop half of a large onion. I like to peel back the skin and use it as a handle while I'm chopping. It keeps everything more sturdy and allows me to cut more of the onion without any wastage. If you slice downward in a sunburst pattern, you won't have to slice across the onion and you'll still get nice fine pieces. See? Hardly any waste. Turn a large pan onto medium-high heat and add a good drizzle of olive oil. My pan is oven safe, but if yours isn't, you'll have to transfer this to an oven-proof dish once you're finished cooking your sauce. Add your onions and let them start to sauté until they just start to pick up a little bit of color. In the meantime, let's chop our basil. If you don't want little bits of basil throughout your sauce, you can just add in the full sprig and remove it before adding in your ingredients later on. But if, like me, you want to chop it up, I like to create this little pile and then roll it into a little basil cigar. It keeps everything nice and compact, and I know I'm going to get even slices. Once you've chopped your little cigar, go over it a few more times so you get nice fine pieces of basil. Set that aside for now. Once your water has come to a boil, add a good amount of salt. Come il mare, like the sea. I've pre-grated 40 grams, about half a cup of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, and 250 grams, just under 9 ounces of a soft mozzarella. You could use a low moisture mozzarella for this recipe, that's no problem at all, but if you'd like to make your own mozzarella, I've linked my recipe in the description below.
And the cheese measurements are optional. I always say measure cheese with your heart, so if you want more in there, go ahead and add it. You could even change up your cheese a little bit and add a smoked scamorza for a little bit of a different flavor.
Now that the onions have just started to pick up a little bit of color, grate in 1 large or 2 small cloves of garlic. Give that a stir and let the garlic sauté for about 30 seconds. Then add in 1 tablespoon, 15 grams of tomato paste. Stir so that the onions and garlic are coated. Now add in your passata. I'm using 1 700-gram jar, that's just under 3 cups. But once you add a little bit of water to get all of the sauce out of the jar, it comes up to about 3 cups. You could also use 2 tins of cherry tomatoes or plum tomatoes if you haven't got passata.
I'm making my sauce from scratch, but you could go ahead and use your favorite store-bought jar of sauce if that's what you'd like to use. It will come together even quicker then.
Give that a stir and then season with a little bit of salt. We can always add more salt later. Now turn down the temperature to medium-low so that it doesn't burn. Now that we've made the sauce, it's time to cook the gnocchi. I'm using 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds of gnocchi.
Don't overcook your gnocchi. When the first few start to come up to the top, drain it off. Because we're going to bake this in the oven, we don't want them to get too mushy. We still want a little bit of texture. Preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
Now to the sauce, add in your chopped basil, 2/3 of the Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, and about 2/3 of the mozzarella. We'll reserve the rest for topping the dish afterwards. Now add your gnocchi to the sauce and give it a really good toss so that the sauce is completely coating each piece of gnocchi. I like to give the sides of my pan a little scrape so that the sauce doesn't burn onto the sides. If you've ever had to do the washing after baking a pasta dish, you know how hard it is to get off that burnt-on sauce. Now top the dish with the remaining mozzarella and Parmigiano Reggiano. This will create a nice brownness on the top and that little bit of gooiness that we love. Transfer your dish to the oven.
This will need to bake for about 10 to 15 minutes or until you start to get a lot of bubbling and a little bit of browning on the top.
You'll want to let this cool for about 5 to 10 minutes just so that it doesn't burn your mouth when you dig in. You could also serve these up in little individual oven-safe dishes and it looks really cute. Add a sprig of basil on top for presentation, e buon appetito!
This will feed 4 pretty hungry people as a main dish or 6 to 8 people as a starter. If you'd like to be a little bit more extra and make your own mozzarella cheese, check out my recipe here. If you found this video helpful, head down below, hit the like button or the hype button, and why not leave me a comment while you're there. I come out with a new video every week, so I hope to see you next time.